Hello world, this is Leo from Prague with a second video on masculinity. I will now expand why it is under attack. Details on the first video on masculinity, showing what is wrong with the modern man, you can find here. To understand why all this is happening, we have to see the bigger picture and understand the historical roles of men and women in the context of the society, not just the family. So yes, we have roles and these are not so visible to the naked eye. However, these have monumental importance on how society functions. Combination of men's and women's roles and views comprise the social pyramid. And the social pyramid is just like a real pyramid. It has vertical pillars or supporting structures and horizontal building blocks. So let's start with the women. The primary and most important social role of a woman is obviously procreation. What most people do not realize is that throughout the ages, the main role of a man was to die in a war. Yes, throughout history there weren't many men, as wars were highly lethal and with enormous mortality rate. On the other hand, it was full with widows. The widows, however, had to continue procreating because that was of a paramount importance for any society throughout history. And from this stems the second role, not so visible and often ignored. A woman is functioning as a strong and loyal supporter, a pillar of the current social order. This is because since the beginning of time, the woman mostly relied on society for her survival, not the man. This is a huge misconception often ignored by social scientists. So again, women's roles are procreation and support of the current social order. These are the vertical hierarchical social structures. Now, as for the man, it is obvious. Men's roles are to provide resources, building and defending or expanding society through war. Building and waging war is no simple task. It requires extensive cooperation skills. Cooperation skills in time of war manifest in building successful military units and armies. Cooperation skills in time of peace manifest in building successful companies. Cooperation skills in turn require emotional regulation, emotional strength and empathy. Empathy is essential to make friends or if you're in a team, and especially for your brothers in arms in war. Again, if you haven't watched my previous video on what is wrong with the modern man, you can watch it here. It shows where emotional regulation, emotional strength and empathy comes from and why it is in decline. So the primary social role of a man, not so visible, is building horizontal social structures. These we can summarize as building the foundational social structure, the family. The man approaches the woman and both build the family. From families come small communities, church, village, small towns. All these require cooperative men. Friendships are almost as important as a family. Good friends not only bring joy, but will also make you successful in life. And again, various cooperative structures, from military units in wartime to companies enduring peacetime. Cooperation skills to bond and build friendships are essential for building such social structures. And all of these are the horizontal building blocks of a society. Family, local communities, military units or companies, friendships, etc. So to summarize, women tend to support the vertical hierarchical social structures while men tend to support the horizontal social structures. And combination of both of these comprise the social pyramid. Now it should be getting clear why the attack on masculinity. Friends, families, local and church communities are all in decline and being shaken. due to the crisis in masculinity. Diminishing masculinity and marginalizing of men means shrinking of the horizontal social structures. Sooner or later this will shake the modern societies, and the only way to fix the impending crisis will be to strengthen the vertical hierarchical social structures. In other words, the social pyramid will become narrower and taller. This will manifest in more and more power to the governments and corporations, as people cannot rely on families and local communities. Now, we have all heard of politicians advocating for a new world order. So you can now connect the dots and see how the attack on masculinity fits this narrative. This is a really broad and macro picture. I hope you enjoyed it.